Yo, what is good YouTube? I am Richie Kim, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on Donovan Mitchell's 6th signature sneaker with Adidas, the D.O.N issue 6. Before we get started, if you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, and also hit that bell notification button so you never miss another video just like this one. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the D.O.N issue 6 features a pretty much radial traction pattern. It is slightly modified in certain areas of the shoe, but overall the theme is radial, and this pair features a translucent outsole, and the traction on here is phenomenal. If you are playing on your clean courts, you're gonna have an extremely hard bite. This thing bites like crazy, it squeaks very loud. It's just overall a very, very good traction setup on those clean courts. Even on dustier courts, I really had no issues. It does pick up very minimal dust, so you might have to wipe occasionally, but me personally, I didn't wipe too much, and I still had great traction on my dustier courts. If you're playing on really dusty courts, maybe, just do some wipes here and there just to make sure that traction is clear of any debris, any dust. But yeah, traction on here was really, really good. And this is the translucent rubber option. Usually when it comes to Adidas, I think that translucent actually performs a little bit better than their solid rubber outsoles. So if you do get a future colorway and it does have a solid rubber outsole, just keep that in mind. It might not be as good as their translucent option, but on this particular pair, the traction was very, very good. So moving on to the cushion, the D.O.N issue 6 features, I believe, a full-length Light Strike Pro midsole. And the cushion in here is pretty damn nice. I would definitely say this is more impact protection, skewed. It's not, too responsive. I'll get into it, right? So in the heel, you do have this thick chunk of Light Strike Pro. In the heel, you do have a lot of compression. You do have great impact protection. In the forefoot, you also have pretty good impact protection. I will say that the heel is a little bit thicker. So it definitely feels like it has a little bit more impact protection. But I will say overall, impact protection is great in the shoe. You do have a very, very subtle bounce. It's not too bouncy. But because of how this cushion feels, I will say that the core feel is not the best. You do feel just like a little laggy in your movements, but not to the point where you actually feel very slow. I still felt pretty quick in this shoe, don't get me wrong. But I've also been playing in shoes like the Sabrina 2, and that has a very low to the ground feeling. It is very responsive. So this just wasn't at that tier. But overall, still good, decent enough in terms of that responsiveness. It's definitely a little bit more lackluster compared to other guard shoes out there. But overall, this midsole is definitely geared more towards an impact protection setup. So yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, this is, definitely more comfortable, but still good enough in terms of the responsiveness and core feel. Although I wish it was just a little bit better. So moving on to the materials, the D.O.N issue 6 features this full textile material. It almost feels like an engineered mesh kind of. And this is pretty much featured across the entire shoe. You do have hits of fuse overlays on the high wear areas around this toe box and also around where the eyelets are kind of. This might actually be a slightly different overall material. But yeah, everywhere else is this mesh material, even on the back. You do have this other hit of rubbery material here. I'm not sure what it is. Moving towards the tongue, you do have an open mesh tongue. I will say it is adequately padded, so if you do like to, crank down your laces, you won't feel the pressure of the laces digging into the top of your foot, which is awesome. So yeah, overall material usage on the shoe is pretty good in my opinion. I'm not gonna complain at this price point, but in terms of the performance, it gets the job done very, very well. So moving on to the fit. This is another Adidas shoe where you can actually go true to size. I'm a slightly wide footer. I went true to size and I felt perfectly fine. Lengthwise, it fit very well. Widthwise, maybe in the forefoot, just a slight pressure. But personally, it was nothing. So yeah, slightly wide footers, normal footers, narrow footers, I think going true to size is a way to go. If you do have really wide feet, you might want to go up a half size. You might feel a little bit of pressure up in the forefoot area, especially where this foam piece that wraps up onto the upper is, just because, you know, that's really not going to break in. Outside of that, I thought the materials lay very nicely over the foot. This is a half booty upper, which gives you as close of a 1-to-1 fit as possible. And yeah, overall, the fit for me was good going true to size. Just keep in mind, if you have wide feet, you might want to go up a half size to alleviate any of the unwanted pressure up in the forefoot area. So moving on to the support in the D.O.N issue 6 was a little weird. You do have an internal heel counter, and you also have this like extra little heel piece right here, this little extra heel padding. And you know, I still had a little bit of heel slippage in both my shoes. It's not just the right shoe this time. It's actually both my left and right. I had a little bit of heel slippage, but I did feel the slight heel slippage more in my right shoe. And that's probably just due to my foot shape. But for me, the heel slippage really was minimal. I never had my heel slip out completely, nor did it really like slip out moderately. It was just very, very minor. You can kind of feel your heel just slide up and down just a little bit. And like I already said, more so in my right shoe than my left shoe. In my left, it was very, very minor, like extremely minor. So just keep that in mind. You might have a very minor heel slippage issue in the shoe. When it comes to side-to-side movement on the footbed, I had no issues there. You are very locked in on this shoe when it comes to those movements. You are also caged in here. The materials do a great job. Also, this like shank plate that comes up onto the upper of the shoe also acts as a cage to make sure you aren't sliding around on that footbed. Not to mention, this lacing system does a great job of making sure your foot is nice and tied down. I will say one thing about this lacing system though, is this eyelet is pretty far back and also very high up. And this might just be a knee thing. It could be a combination of like how high this tongue comes up too. But when I cranked down my laces, it almost felt like I was cutting off like some circulation in my ankles, and also gave me just like this weird pressure in an unwanted area of my foot. So just be cautious, you all might have that issue too. Maybe not, let me know in the comments down below if you did have that issue. But yeah, I mean, side to side movement, you're locked in, you're fine. As far as lateral movements go, this is a very wide base. You're gonna be covered there. I had zero issues of instability on those hard lateral movements. And then when it comes to torsional rigidity and stability, you're gonna be covered there as well. I mean, you can all see this shank plate. This is just plastic, it's not real carbon fiber. It's the same approach they did with the AE1s on the back heel. It's not real carbon fiber, it just looks like it, which kind of sucks because it would have been really dope if this was actually carbon fiber, but you know, it still does the job just fine. Torsional rigidity and stability are good. So the only issue for me when it comes to the support was really that minor heel slippage. But outside of that, everything else was very good. So the D.O.N issue 6 retails for $120, and for $120, I would say this is a very good shoe. Really the only issue I had in the shoe was that very minor heel slippage. If I really wanted to complain, I wish the core feel was a little bit better in the shoe, but overall this is a very, very solid performer. This is probably one of the best Adidas shoes that's out on the market right now. Obviously the AE1 and the Harden 8s are also very, very good shoes, but this is fantastic. I absolutely love playing in this. This is, in my opinion, Donovan Mitchell's best signature sneaker. For most people, it really does check all the boxes. This is a very fun shoe to play in, very comfortable, and that traction is freaking amazing. So if you all want to pick up a pair of these, I'll leave a link for you down in the description box below. But yeah, definitely go get a pair, you won't regret it. But that's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, and also hit that thumbs up button for me. Leave a comment, as those really do help me out. Check out these videos over here, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.